Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. If you do not know who I am Prophetess Angie Allen. So normally I don't go live. This is my first time, but I want to give a word of encouragement. God began to speak to me on today, and I kept hearing that this is a season of completion. Like we are exiting out one of the books that we have been working through. God has been doing some awesome and wonderful things through us. That book is being closed. That book is being put away. So now we are entering into a whole new season, a whole new book. And so with this completion, he began to show me is that this is where all the training and everything that we have been through has equipped us, has got us ready for where he's about to take us. So I want to encourage you to get ready. You know, I begin to see bags being packed. I begin to see vacations. I begin to see marriages. I begin to see new births, someone giving birth, being pregnant. I done seen so many different things. And this is the season where it is time for us to elevate and go higher. So as I was in the gym earlier this morning, I had to wind down and sit down and have God to go over some things with me and help me understand what is it that I needed to evaluate. So while I was on the treadmill, there were this woman on this exercise and it works your ab. And so on the side, it had the word elevate circuit. So I took notes, I wrote down the name, and I began to ask God, what is it? So he was like, once you get to your time alone, I'm going to break this thing down to you. And so what he did was he began to break it down, and this is the notes that I got. So far as elevate. So when I looked up elevate, it says to rise or lift something up to a higher position. An example of that was the exercise will naturally elevate your chest and head. And it's interesting that that was an example that was given when I began to look up this word. And so when it talks about the exercise will naturally elevate your chest and head, when he said exercise, meaning everything that we have been going through, everything that we needed to understand through the training. And although there will still be training that we will have to go through, but what he's saying is naturally elevating you to a place that causing you to lift up your head, where you lift up your head with confidence. So you had to go through the pushing. You had to go through a few of the things in order for you to get to a place to understand who you are in him. God is so awesome, and I love him. Like, I'm excited, and let me slow down because I'm getting excited because of everything that he have shown me. We may not understood at the moment why we went through what we went through, but when you go back and you look at a few of the things that you've been through before, God began to show you the purpose of reason why you had to go through it. If you have not been through what you've been through, you wouldn't be the person you are today. And so when I begin to hear the word completion, this is where he had set us in position, allowing things to wing off of us, meaning the people that we have been connected to, allowing them to be disconnected, causing things to take place so then that way we could be in a position where we need to be. So now that that part is completed, now we are ready to enter into everything that we have been praying for, everything that we have been asking him for, everything that we have been dreaming about. So these things that you have been dreaming about, God is about to bring that to the front. He's about to release these different things. And be careful in this season, everything that he has been telling you, showing you, you've been dreaming about, be careful who it is that you share this information with. You have the enemy is standing around waiting for things to be released from our mouth. And what I'm saying by waiting for things to be released from our mouth, I am reminded of the word, if it ain't one thing, it's the next. So when you begin to say that and you are saying it from your heart, this gives the room for the enemy to come in and begin to operate on that manner. So what I'm saying to you is this is the season, although we have completed that book and we are creating a new book, we still have to be careful in the things that we are saying. And I keep seeing that we have to be careful because our tongue holds so much power. When you begin to declare some things over yourself, watch it manifest. So being that we hold power with our tongue and everything that we say manifests itself, that means we truly have to be careful. When you're speaking over family members, when you're speaking over a friend, when you're speaking over yourself, whatever it is, speaking over your children, be careful because your tongue holds power. Now, going back to this completion, I begin to see that there's a door has been closed. And as that door began to close, I begin to see on the other side some other things taking place. So being that other things are taking place over here, God is setting us up and putting us in this position. But in this position, I hear the Lord, I hear you, Lord. In this position that he's putting us, we have to be ready and prepared. And most important is that we have to be quick to listen and slow to speak and obedient. Obedient is so important as we move forward. Obedient, as his word said, obedient is better than sacrifice. Being obedient keeps you from losing or letting go the things that God is releasing upon you. Obedient keeps you in a safe zone. So what God is saying is he's trying to keep us in a safe zone as he's elevating us, taking us to this next level. Now let's go back to the elevate circuit. So I read to you about elevate, then the circuit part, and he had me use this one as it relates to electricity. It said complete circular path that electricity flowed through. And what he's saying is the electricity is within himself, the Holy Spirit that's operating through us, that's moving, that's going to be guiding us, that's going to be taking us into places that we need to go, places that we need to be able to, the Holy Spirit giving us the access to what we need to walk through. And not only that, it's something else I took note on that I want to say. Oh yeah, so as I was writing this, I began to hear the Lord saying, elevate to a level that never been seen. And I began to ask him, what you mean elevating us to a level that never been seen? And he began to tell me it's just an elevation that never been seen, but have been heard of. So there are some things that we have heard, but in that, this is where we're going to actually operate in those things. Now, what that elevation level is, I don't know. We all have different levels of what it is that God's going to do in our life. But I know, like I said before, he began to show me marriages, house, jobs, all kinds of different things. But in the midst of all of that, like right now, he's showing me, as I said, jobs. He began to show me it's just not you working on the job, but you are being in a higher position on your job. And then for those that are desiring to have your own business, I begin to see multiple business. Like I see multiple business. I see so many different business. Like some going to have 5, some going to have 6. I even see the number 8. Now, in this process, again, like I said before, it's going to require obedience. It's going to require a lot of fasting. So this is the time where you have to get in position. Thank you for tuning in to me. I appreciate it. This is the time where we have to fast because there are some major things about to take place in this transitioning. So being that although God said we are in a complete season, a completion season where we are exiting out the old and entering into the new, the enemy going to come harder. He's going to come harder than he ever have before. So in order to sustain yourself, we have to fast. We have to be in prayer. We have to be quick to listen and slow to speak. Remember, obedience is better than sacrifice. So get yourself in that position so then that way you'll be prepared. Like the Bible tells us, be ready at all times. You'll be surprised what will take place. I'm telling you, the enemy is lurking. There's so many different things are taking place right now that you have so many people is trying to time into the things that God is doing in your life. And this is where you have to move in silence. You have to move quietly. You can't share everything with everyone because what happened is when you begin to share the things that God is doing in your life, then you have that person Take your information, share it with someone else, and they begin to talk about it. And then if there's some envious in the midst of that, that's what's being said, then what happened is that they're speaking against you. And then you begin to wondering, why is there a delay? Well, there's a delay because you have opened your mouth and you share some things that God did not tell you to share. So this is the point. This is the season where it's time to walk in silence and continue to move forward. And like I said, we have completed some things. You have completed that test that you needed to go through. Now we are entering into a new one. And so, even though we enter into a new one, there's another kind of test. So in this new test, in this new book that we are entering in, get ready. Get ready, because I'm telling you, God is opening up doors. He's putting people in positions. There's things are lined up right there for you, and we are elevating to another level. And then in the midst of that, there's nothing can be stopped in between, but only us. We'll be the one that cause things to be at a set still. And how is that? Because we're opening our mouth. We prematurely saying things, and this is where you have to shut it down. Be watchful. And be careful who it is that you allow into your circle. Be careful who it is that you're allowing into your ears. Be careful who it is that you're allowing around you, because you will have people around you speaking against you. And you got to be able to keep yourself covered. That's why it's important. Always stand in prayer. Continually stand in prayer the moment you wake up, throughout the day. No matter wherever you are, continue to stay in prayer. Because I'm telling you, there's something major and important that is on your life and things that are running through you. And the enemy wants to snatch everything possible that he can. And he wants to convince you that he wants to convince you that you are not important. He wants to convince you that you will not make a difference. Many of us are called to the nation. And so what the enemy wants to do is he want to stop it right at the beginning. He want to stop it right at the beginning before you are able to create a domino effect. Because he know that the word that's in your mouth, the things that you have in your belly, once you release it, then those things become a domino effect. And then when it become a domino effect, those people are sharing what you have said. These people are being liberated. These people are being uplifted. These people are being encouraged. These people are able to see they are more than a conqueror. So the enemy wants to stop the difference that you are able to make. So continue to stay encouraged, continue to stay focused. And I just want to chime in on today and just shoot a quick word of encouragement. And I pray that something on here encourage you. And I pray that you continue to keep things in which God has been speaking to you a secret to yourself, or share it with someone that you feel that is not going to speak against you, not going to speak against what God has released upon your life. Because like I said before, anything that you begin to speak out, you will have people taking that information, sharing it with other people, and then they're talking about it. And then now those people can find themselves going into a witchcraft setting and begin to speak against you and causing things to be a delay. But at the end of the day, what God said is for you is going to be for you. So you have a job. Keep your mouth sealed. Only speak when you need to speak. You have to use wisdom in this season. Even though we have completed some things and God is elevating us, taking us to another level, that doesn't mean that you be foolish. That doesn't mean that, hey, you finally made it out and you begin to share all your information. That's where we go wrong at. I'm one of them. I have been there before. And that's why I'm speaking this to you. Be careful what it is that you release out of your mouth. And be careful what it is that you release over yourself. Because our tongue holds so much power. Continue to stay encouraged. And I pray that you have a great, outstanding 4th of July. As Jesus Christ loves you, I love you too. Be blessed.